Today, students, we are doing part 2 of lesson 5 from the General Science textbook for Standard 6. Substances in the surroundings, their states and properties. For a complete lesson, do watch part 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll get the link in the description box below.
This video was made just for you. Do remember to like, share and subscribe.
Now let's understand about the boiling of water. Now water is continuously evaporating, isn't it? We know during the summers what happens, the water evaporates. We have learnt about it in the water cycle when we learnt the continuous process of the water evaporating, cooling and condensation happens and the water comes down in the form of rain. So we know that water is continuously evaporating, and we know that water spilt on the floor dries up slowly on its own, isn't it? Nobody's doing anything, and after some time we see that the water has dried up. So this evaporation occurs from the surface of the water, okay, from the top layer of the water. Surface of the water means from the top layer of the water it will start evaporating. So what happens when water boils? Okay, we know that water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. We just seen that. Okay, so what exactly is happening? Let's understand that. As the water gets heated, its temperature increases and it evaporates at a faster and faster rate. Okay, so we know that as soon as we keep anything for heating, the substance acquires heat, that is, heat is gained, and as soon as it reaches a particular temperature, it will change from one state to the other. So here also, when we heat the water, at the surface, what happens is the water starts evaporating, so the temperature increases. So that is the reason why it starts evaporating. And as you continue, so the rate of evaporation, it goes faster and faster, so now more faster it will go. Okay, and when water kept on a stove attains a particular temperature or level of heat, then evaporation takes place in all parts of the body of the water. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so here we see that water is boiling and there is a thermometer kept, and this is the burner. Okay, so first it was 20 degrees Celsius, and then as you continued heating, it became 100 degrees 50 degrees Celsius, and from 50 it reached the boiling point of water, that is 100 degrees Celsius. So as soon as it starts, then we see water bubbles rising at a faster and faster rate to the surface and steam moving in the air. Okay, so steam, we see that water vapor coming out, so that is called the steam going out into the air and it just disappears. So this is called the boiling of water or ebullition. Okay, so this at 100 degrees Celsius water starts boiling. Now at sea level, pure water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Now this is the boiling point of water. So boiling point of water is, that is, pure water is 100 degrees Celsius. When water vapor cools down, okay, the other way down, so we know that water vapor will start cooling down, it is converted into water again. So again, we had seen this in the process of the water cycle. Water evaporates, it goes, forms water vapor, goes into the clouds, and the clouds collect it, and when it starts cooling, what happens, these water vapor is turned into liquid again, and the clouds become heavy and water comes down on the surface of the earth in the form of rain. So that is called the condensation process. So when the cooling process starts, this is called the condensation, and condensation of steam also takes place at 100 degrees Celsius. So it means that the boiling point and condensation point of water are one and the same. Okay, so 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point and the condensation of water. Now students, try this activity. Take some water in a beaker and place a thermometer in it. Beaker is a glass-like instrument that you'll get it in the laboratory. And heat the beaker on a spirit lamp. Okay, so that is the spirit lamp. Again, you'll get it in the laboratory. So do this experiment always when your teacher is around. Never go to alone in the library, in the laboratory. Now, note the boiling point of water. Repeat the activity, adding salt or sugar to the water, and note the boiling point again. What do you infer from it? Okay, infer means what did you find out when at first, when you just kept the water for boiling, what was the boiling point? When the water started boiling, then add salt or sugar. Okay, don't add both the things. Salt or sugar, whichever is available. And then note the boiling point. So, what did you see? Note it down. Now, while gaining heat, okay, we know that what happens is the solid starts melting, isn't it? And then it starts boiling. So, from solid to liquid to gas. So, this is the process. And while losing heat, the condensation process happens and the gas will turn to the liquid state, and from the liquid state to the solid state, that is the freezing state. So let's learn more about freezing. So the water kept in a fridge or on ice becomes cooler and cooler. That is, its temperature falls. So we say the temperature is falling. When it becomes hot, the temperature rises. We know by the scale in the thermometer. So it rises. Now, at a certain temperature, water does not get any cooler but starts freezing and forms ice. You must have, done that many a times when you keep water turn it to an ice cube, isn't it? In your freezer section, you put it in the ice tray, and after some time, it changes to ice cubes. So what happens is the process is that water will become cooler and cooler and cooler, and then it starts freezing, that is, it starts becoming solid. The temperature at which this happens is called the freezing point of water. And the temperature of a substance can fall below 0 degrees Celsius also. Okay. So if you had noticed that thermometer, the scale, there is even some markings below 0 also. Okay. So that will go under minus. We had seen it in the freezer section. It is minus 18 degrees Celsius. So, the temperature of air in the freezer of a refrigerator is around minus 18 degrees Celsius, and it is read as minus 18 degrees Celsius. Now, when ice gets heat, so again, when we take out the ice cubes out, isn't it? So the cooling process has now stopped. It is not cool, but the warm air outside it starts melting it. So when ice gets heat, it starts melting or changing into liquid state again. So ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. So it is still at 0 degrees Celsius, but it has started melting. It means that the freezing point and melting point of water are one and the same, that is 0 degrees Celsius. Each substance has a specific boiling point, which is also its condensation point, isn't it? Earlier we saw when the water starts boiling and it starts condensation. So the boiling and condensation are same, as well as each substance has a specific melting point, which is the same as its freezing point. Okay. So the temperature at which a substance boils while heating is the same as the temperature at which it condenses when it is cooled. And similarly, the temperature at which the substance freezes while cooling is the same as the temperature at which it melts when it's heated. So, this is what we conclude from the little experiment that we did earlier. Now, use your brain power. The chart given below shows the boiling point and freezing point of some substances. Now state whether these substances are solid, liquid or gaseous at the room temperature. So they have given the freezing point and boiling point of candle, plastic and iron. You have to find out whether they are in solid state, liquid state or gaseous state. And to check your answers, you could visit our website at www.jkacademypro.com. You'll get the link in the description box below. Now let's continue. Now, various uses of changes in physical state. Now, because some of the substances change their physical state, melting or freezing, whatever, what use could it be to us? Now, candles are made by melting paraffin wax. We get different shapes of the candles. We get big candles, small candles, fat candles, candles in different shapes, colors. So how is this made? Because candles we can melt and we can put it into any shape we want. Okay, so the paraffin wax from where the candles are made, that can be melted, and there are molds to make it. So according to the molds, that is the shape, they pour it in the molds, and that is how we get the shape of the candles. Okay, then solid carbon dioxide, that is, it is called, also called dry ice, and it is used by caterers to used to make ice cream and keep it frozen. So the temperature is very low, so ice cream and ice and everything, you can keep it for a very long time when you have dry ice, that is solid carbon dioxide. Now, liquid nitrogen is used in animal husbandry. Animal husbandry means where animals are reared for, for selling, like hens and chickens and all those things. Okay, so liquid nitrogen is used by them. Then sand, which is also silica, is melted, okay, to make glass. So we use so many of our glass products. Okay, so can we imagine it is made of sand? So sand, that is silica, is melted to make glass. Then metals like gold and silver are melted to make ornaments. We know that, isn't it? Not only gold, silver, there are so many other metals. You get artificial jewelry and all that. So those are melted to make ornaments. And we have iron is melted to make tools, isn't it? So many of our things are made of iron. So these are the various uses that we can have, because these things change. So when they change by heating or cooling, so we can make it into the desired shape, or make good use of it for us, for our uses. Now, students, do this little experiment in the laboratory, but do not do it alone, only under the guidance of your teacher. Now, take some sand in a crucible. What is a crucible? Crucible is this apparatus over here. Okay, it is made of ceramic, so it's a dish. Okay, so take some sand and put a few iodine crystals on it. Okay, place the crucible on a tripod to heat it. So, set your apparatus as shown over here. Okay, so set it up, put it on a tripod, keep a burner. So all these things you'll get it in your laboratory. And then heat it and block the steam of the funnel with a cotton plug and place it inverted over the crucible. So take this glass funnel, okay, and block this. Okay, this is called the stem. So stem of the funnel. So block it with a cotton plug, that is a ball of cotton, and then light the burner and heat the mixture in the crucible. Now observe the changes. So heat it and wait for a few seconds. Okay. So and observe. Now what did you observe? So we see that the what happens is the iodine particles, iodine starts melting, and it starts the fumes means the the smoke like thing starts coming up. Okay, and then it condenses and we find that there are crystals over here. So if you look at this picture, this is the actual picture of the experiment. So actual particles of iodine seen during the experiment in the laboratory. So why did this happen? Now, iodine crystals do not melt on heating but change directly to its gaseous state. Okay, so now we saw these fumes coming out, isn't it? So the iodine crystal did not change from the solid state to the liquid state, but it directly changed to this gaseous states. And when the fumes of iodine hit the wall, that is, they are not allowed no to go out, so they have to hit somewhere. So when they hit the wall of this funnel, they what happens is they start cooling down, and they cool to form solid crystals of iodine and stick to the funnel wall. So they start sticking over here, and as some of the fumes go up, they will start condensing over here, and they will the again we'll find the solid crystals. Okay, they are in crystal form. So crystals at this, even on this ball of cotton over here. So this is the actual picture, so you can see it from here. Thus, on heating, iodine does not melt and change to a liquid but directly changes to its gaseous state. So this is something new we have learnt now, that when heating, some substances do not change to the liquid state but directly go into the gaseous state. So this change, the change of a solid substance directly into a gas or vapor without first changing into the liquid, is called sublimation. Now remember this statement very nicely. Okay, so this is a very important statement. So what happens is, when a solid, when heating, directly changes to its gas, that is, it forms vapors, so that is called sublimation. Now use your brain power on opening a box of camphor. Okay, we use this camphor for lighting during the puja and all that. When we do, its smell spreads all around. Now, why does this happen? As soon as camphor is kept in a box, so as you open this box, okay, so you'll find the aroma. We can call the aroma of camphor will spread everywhere. So think about it. Why did this happen?
To check your answers to all the textual questions and for the summary, meanings, other question answers, and for free worksheets, visit our website at www.jkacademypro.com. You'll get the link in the description box below. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe.
This is end of part 2. For a complete lesson, do watch part 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll get the link in the description box below.